What's good, everyone? My name is TJ, and in all honesty, I wanted to make this channel to talk about, how to improve mindsets, how to learn the lessons that I wish my younger self knew, and honestly, like all the obstacles I've had to overcome to get here. In all honesty, I can't begin to share any of that until you guys know my story, until you guys actually know who TJ is. So, let me just tell you that story. We have to begin by going back to younger TJ. Say 5, 6 years ago, it begins the first day of university. Now the first day of university was open day. So literally you go there, you do all these fun things, like these fun rides, fun activities, and literally your only concept was to fuck around. I didn't really care about grades. I didn't care about classes. I didn't care about. Yes, I went to all of them. Yes, I did all my assignments and stuff like that. But the main motivation behind actually, waking up every day and getting dressed is the whole socialization part of it. To me, university was literally like, oh my God, this is going to be a fashion show. This is going to be a fun time. And it was. For a solid year and a little bit, it was definitely the most fun I've ever had. Like, I would go out whenever I want, do whatever I want, and just basically think I was living my dream life. And I was like, oh my God, these are the party days which every parent, everyone talks about. It wasn't until I remember this very specifically. It was 2:05 a.m. because I always wear a watch. I checked my watch specifically. I was in one of Melbourne's nightclubs with some of my best friends. All my boys were dancing, partying, and I was too, until I just froze once. And I was like, is this all to life? Because from then, I sort of knew that, hey, after these like 6, 7 years of university is over, what's next? I'm just gonna have to grind on some job. I'm just gonna have to trade time for money. I'm just gonna have to live a life that never fulfilled me. And that sudden realization made me realize that this life wasn't for me. But I didn't know any better. I was uneducated. I was young. I guess I was, in a way, I was very immature back then. So all I did was rinse and repeat my old cycle, wake up, choose my outfit. I probably spent more brain power into choosing my outfit back then. And I would basically go to university, have an amazing social life, go to gym. That was one thing I was grinding on back then. Gym was one thing. But then come back, sleep, look at my overdue assignments, and rinse and repeat. Now, completely honest, this sucked. This sucked so bad. Like, whilst I thought I was living the most dopamine filled life, I hated every aspect of it. There was this innate pain of like, this is just not where I belong. And it wasn't until this sudden realization when I was just on YouTube one day, literally wasting time. And I came across this one YouTuber who everyone knows him. It was Imangaji. And I basically saw how he's a millionaire by 21. And 21 was 3 years away from me back then. And I was just like, oh my days. It shifted my paradigms because I wanted that life. And for the first like 5, 6 months of watching his videos, I was just like, this guy's a scammer. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. This guy's obviously like doing some illegal things to actually, have this life and be a millionaire by 21. And it took 6 months for me to overcome that ignorance and to realize I was like, what this guy's doing is actually legit. So there goes my next step. Literally was like he was selling in a program back then. I invested. I invested into my program, into his program, I should say, but I didn't even use it. To be honest, I didn't hop on a single coaching call. I didn't hop on any of the group calls. I was just using his content, and I was just grinding and grinding and grinding until, yeah, Like it was 12-hour work days, 5 a.m. wake ups, 5 coffees a day. It was the most fun I have. I still remember this like drill sergeant lifestyle I used to live back then. And it was to this day the most fun I've had. And for the first 2 months, I never actually saw any return on the investment I made until I was at my part-time job one day. And one of my one of the clients that I outreached to and had a call with, because it was an agency I was running, I had a call with, was scheduled a follow up with him, and he just said to my email outcome, be like, I was at my part time job. He's like, hey mate, I want to get started as soon as possible. Can I just pay you now? I was in my part time job and my eyes opened and lit up. I was like, oh my God, everything I've worked for has come true. Said, hey, I'm going to the bathroom, ran to the bathroom, sent him an invoice. He paid, and I ended up making $300 profit. Now, this $300, it's nothing much, I'll be honest with you, but the fact that it was the first win I had, and all my 12-hour days, knowing it paid off, I walked back into work after my bathroom break, and I was like, I am better than all of you. My ego got to me, my dopamine spiked through the roof. It was, I was not better than all of them, but it completely shifted my paradigm that holy shit, this works. This is not, I am not running a scam. I am not, running a pyramid scheme like all my parents and my friends thought I was doing. They were like, is this legal? And I was like, I'm just running a service business. What do you mean? And it was just, but long story short, that business model was never for me. I had to shut it down 3 months in. I was making around 4K per month, and I realized, I was like, this isn't for me, only because it didn't align with who I wanted to be. I was drop servicing. I was never fulfilling my product. I was just hopping on sales calls, closing people, doing a fuck ton of cold outreach, and then just eventually landing clients. 12-hour days, 5 coffees. It was fun, but the fulfillment, it wasn't there. So I was like, and I knew I couldn't sustain this for the rest of my life. So I eventually, I was like, I could scale this, but at the end of the day, do I want to just be a drop servicer? It felt so soulless. I felt so empty. So I eventually shut that business model down, and I wanted to know the only way to make more money than you can ever think of in this space is to find something purposeful, find something that's aligned and actually provide value, change people's lives and people you care about. And I couldn't find this for a while, to be honest with you. So I went back to my original goal of medicine. And I actually locked in at uni. I did all my assignments. I was the good boy. I showed up with my hair brushed and my shirt tucked in and did all the assignments, pleased the professors with assignments, weirdos. And basically it was like, it was a teacher's pet. Grinded for my medical exam. Got decent results. Never really applied, but I'm more than confident to say with my results, I'm very capable. Getting in is more than just a possibility. But it wasn't the life for me. The day after my medical exam, I was introduced to this thing called high ticket sales. Actually, I have to say, I wasn't introduced to it before. I was introduced to it before. There was this mate of mine, Vanch. Eternally grateful to this day. I still work with this man every single day of my life. I still talk to him on a weekly basis. He was 19 and he had a very similar mindset to me. He didn't want to go through the traditional path of being an engineer and just, working a 9 to 5, trading your time for money and then just praying for a promotion. He didn't want that. He wanted his income to be in his own control. And he wanted to live a life of fulfillment, alignment, and hard work that no one realistically lives. And when I heard him talk about this business model, I was like, look, my agency, and by then my agency shut down 3 months ago. And I was itching. I was like, no, I want to get back into it, but I don't want the same result to happen. So I was like, cool. Give me some time to finish my degree with medicine and basically go all in. There are two things that require a high amount of effort and high attention, and I couldn't do them both simultaneously. So I said, okay, bachelor's first, gonna take a break, buy myself exactly a gap year to go all in, see if this works, make it work, and if it fails, university. But if it doesn't, we know the next steps. And from there, he put me forward for this man called Kashinaya. He was my first ever mentor. And I hopped on a closing call with him. And I was so skeptical back then. I was like, look, man, I'm really authentic and I agree with what you're doing. And I do believe I can put my faith into you and just believe what you say and do exactly as you said. I couldn't invest in myself again because investing in myself was basically clearing out my account. I'd spent a lot of money. I'd bought a new car. I had, made a few investments, and then now I was basically clearing out my bank account to invest into this guy. And I was terrified, to be honest. I was like, okay, I left with a deposit because if I lost the deposit, I didn't care, but I couldn't lose the full amount. And literally after the closing call, he left with the deposit. He sent me all his material, all his testimonials, or his story basically. I looked at it and I was like, this guy is legit. And mind you, I was so lost back then. I didn't know what I was doing. I wanted my mentor to get me from 0 to 10 within a year. But now I need to get to 0 to 200, because he's opened my eyes to know what this space has unlocked, showed me the proof of concept. This isn't just bullshit people are talking about. And in all honesty, the younger TJ that was so lost, didn't know what he was doing, didn't want to go back to university. He realistically, he made a difference. He went all in, did the work day in, day out, and he got to see results. What those results eventually did was it let me know that there is so much more to this game. And in all honesty, yes, I have gotten far, but I've not gotten anywhere near where I want to be. And I've almost ticked off some goals, but once those goals are ticked off, there's only higher mountains to climb. And I believe I can truly conquer them. It just takes time, effort, and I'm on a journey, probably in the trenches like I was a couple months back. Thug it out, because this isn't the first time you're going to be in the trenches. You need to have the ability to be in the trenches and climb out with every chance you get. And that ability to climb out, make it happen over and over again. And honestly, once you have a decent amount of success, it could be gone within the next day. Well, it teaches you a lot about what it takes to make it. And every struggle you go through, just remember, it's honestly God just testing you whether you deserve it or not. It's the universe, and I believe it's God too, asking you, hey, you want this result. I'm not going to give it to you, but I'm going to put you through the hellfire. And if you come out and scream, I deserve it, you will get it. And that's exactly what's brought me here today. And we're going to keep walking through the hellfire, guys. I have nothing more to say. Peace out, guys. Catch you in the next one.